What makes you sad always? Death of my wife. It has been almost 13 years and I can start bawling my eyes out at the drop of a hat. Sad commercial, country western song, sappy movie. I just sob. She was the light of my life and the apple of my eye. We shared 29 glorious years, but it will never have been enough. She was only 50. I lost my wife to cancer after 10 years. She was 31 years old. I can only imagine the extent of your pain. I hope you have found happiness in her absence. I have remarried and I am happy, but I will never be whole again. This made me cry so hard. God. I hope somehow, and some way your pain lessens and you're able to heal a little. I cannot imagine how hard it must have been. That there are certain people in my life who were so important to me in the past, but are gone now. Like deceased or drifted away and don't want to talk to me, or were an online friend that I can't find anymore. I've been missing a few old friends a lot, and at the time, they meant the world to me. Stuff happened, and we went our separate ways. Now I would love to chat with them just to catch up. Nothing more, no hidden meaning. It's hard for me to reach out to others, so it's a big step. One, I have no direct way to contact. The other? Left on read. I guess it makes sense, but it hit me in the nostalgia and stings a bit right now. Make sure you tell people at some point what they meant to you. Even if that meaning has changed and faded over the years. Even if you were just thinking about the good old days and they were special. Tell them. And if you get a nice message, don't leave them on read. This comment hit really hard, man. One of my friends just went off to college and she just sorta cut contact. She has no idea, but she meant the world to me. She was the one person who paid attention to me and took me in when I was the weird new kid. She had no idea and I guess she never will. This just hits right in the feels. Also trying to find a childhood friend but you never knew their last name. The way I treat others in the past. Feeling sad about it shows that you have a heart and learned from it and that you have done and will do better. That's a positive. Same feeling, man. I feel ashamed with my past self. My mom passed away recently, at only 49 years old. My biggest fear was losing her. I can barely function anymore, and feel like I lost my will to live. My life feels surreal now. Every time I think of her I am so beyond devastated, it's indescribable. Edit, thank you to everyone who said kind things or shared their stories as well. I will be reading all of your comments. My mom was my best friend, and things have been really challenging lately. Hey there, I just lost my dad in June and I feel for you. The hardest part for me is still having a microsecond of a feeling like I have to call him or talk to him about something the next time we have a visit. It stings every single time and leaves me feeling pretty hollow. I hope you don't ever lose your reason for living though. There is nothing I can say to take away the sorrow, but something that helps me, a very little bit, is thinking about how I shouldn't stop doing things in my life that would have made my dad proud. It's the very least I can do to honor him, and I think your mother would maybe feel the same for you by the sound of it. As for grief, you'll find it comes in waves. When the ship is first wrecked, you're drowning, with wreckage all around you. Everything floating around you reminds you of the beauty and the magnificence of the ship that was, and is no more. And all you can do is float. You find some piece of the wreckage and you hang on for a while. Maybe it's some physical thing. Maybe it's a happy memory or a photograph. Maybe it's a person who is also floating. For a while, all you can do is float. Stay alive. In the beginning, the waves are 100 feet tall and crash over you without mercy. They come 10 seconds apart and don't even give you time to catch your breath. All you can do is hang on and float. After a while, maybe weeks, maybe months, you'll find the waves are still 100 feet tall, but they come further apart. When they come, they still crash all over you and wipe you out. But in between, you can breathe, you can function. You never know what's going to trigger the grief. It might be a song, a picture, a street intersection, the smell of a cup of coffee. It can be just about anything, and the wave comes crashing. But in between waves, there is life. Somewhere down the line, and it's different for everybody, you find that the waves are only 80 feet tall. Or 50 feet tall. And while they still come, they come further apart. You can see them coming. An anniversary, a birthday, or Christmas, or landing at O'Hare. You can see it coming, for the most part, and prepare yourself. And when it washes over you, you know that somehow you will, again, come out the other side. Soaking wet, sputtering, still hanging onto some tiny piece of the wreckage, but you'll come out. Take it from an old guy. The waves never stop coming, and somehow you don't really want them to. But you learn that you will survive them. And other waves will come. And you'll survive them too. If you're lucky, you'll have lots of scars from lots of loves. And lots of shipwrecks. My age. While 70 is a milestone, I miss the days of youth. I miss my vigor and energy. I wake up sad some days because I know my days on this earth are dwindling. I wish I had done more in life even though my accomplishments in my career were satisfying. I wish we had had more children. At the same time, I'm glad to be retired, even with the meager pensions we have now. And after 50 years of marriage, I'm glad to spend my final years with my best friend and lover. I'm sad there's just so little time left. I'm in the same position. What I dread most is the day one of us is no longer here. Thinking about that, when I will be lying in bed alone and missing her so much, is almost more than I can bear. On the plus side, it makes me appreciate so much the time we have together. My wife snores a bit, not much but enough to keep me awake some nights. I know I could move to another room, but for me, I'll take being a bit tired tomorrow over sleeping alone tonight. For real. I hear every bit of that. Seeing someone disappointed in me, it's the same look in their eyes. God. One of the things I most regret is disappointing my second grade teacher. It's been 12 years now and I still think about it. She taught me so many important things in life. I was late to school a lot, so she made a calendar for me where if I go to class on time every day for a month, then she'll buy me a prize. I remember she bought me a Geronimo Stilton book, and another time she got me a sketchbook because I liked to draw. She also taught me how to read. We read Charlie in the Chocolate Factory and she'll explain to me what I just read. I could pronounce the words from the page, but a lot of times I didn't know what I just read. She went out of her way to help make me into a better person, and I stole someone's Pokemon cards. I admitted that I did it because I felt so guilty, and I remember the disappointment in her eyes. Probably one of the worst things I could imagine. If I had one chance to fix something in my past, it would be to beat some sense into my 7-year-old dumbass. I'm feeling it right now. I had this friend in game and we were talking so comfortably with each other, then he asks for my social media so we can talk even we're not in game, but after adding me on Facebook he stopped talking to me. And I don't really know why. Not knowing what exactly to do in life. I usually think of that commencement speech turned song, "Everybody's free to wear sunscreen," when I feel this way. Don't feel guilty if you don't know what you want to do with your life. The most interesting people I know didn't know at 22 what they wanted to do with their lives. Some of the most interesting 40-year-olds I know still don't. Seeing pictures of my dad. My parents divorced when I was 3, and courts didn't allow a lot of visitation time for my dad. He finally got me out of a bad situation with my mom when I was 15, and got me back on track. He died a few years later, and I always feel like I got cheated out of having him in my life. Edit, thank you all for the kind words, and also all the awards. I definitely was not expecting this to get any attention, but I really do appreciate everyone for reaching out. You guys are awesome. Or I'm sorry. just makes that time more valuable and memorable. My oldest sister died 3 years ago. She was 33 and I was freshly 18. With the age gap our relationship was hard and she always sucked ass at showing up. Finally got to a point in our lives that we could have an adult relationship, and I'm telling you man, all I ever wanted growing up was to be like her and be with her. But we finally get to that point, and she died of liver and kidney failure. Couldn't stop drinking. I get a huge mix of sad and angry emotions over it. But instead of still being mad and upset that it happened, I've learned to cherish the memories I have with her and the time I had spent. I learned from the mistakes she made. I know our situations aren't really close to the same, but I too feel cheated out of having her in my life. But you have to move on from that and hold on to what you have. He got you back on track, stay on track and be the best you that you can be. Cherish the years you had with him and regret nothing. Death is very hard and fucked up, but it has to make us stronger in the end. Subscribe for more hot Reddit takes in your inbox, guaranteed.